Hey guys, it's Kip here from KDC Marketing, and in today's video I'm going to show you how we can do the input fields for the CMS in Wix Studio. So in Wix Studio, the content management system, or CMS, is a really cool feature, and this repeater uses the CMS. So if I go to my sections here on the Our Team, you can see that this is a repeater, and this is tied to my content management system, so it's tied to my data set. So if I go into my CMS here and my collections, these are the 10 team members that I have, and I'm managing these team members through this content management system. So for example, I have 5 that are visible, but if I want to show a few more team members, I just select them and I can change the status to show to visible, and they're going to show up here on the website now. So now I've got more team members, and these team members need some images, so I could go in and customize that. I can also go in and hide those members, but the purpose of the video today is to show how you can be able to collect this information in a form and have it populate in your CMS automatically. So we're going to try this out. So I've got a new page and I've called it the team form. And so I'm going to make some input fields in here so that it'll go directly into my CMS. So I'm going to go to this elements, and then over here on the left hand side there's an input section, and here's all the different inputs that you have. So you have text, you have drop downs, you have checkboxes, you can even do ratings like reviews. So there's all kinds of things in here, but we're going to focus on text primarily. So I'm going to drag this over, and I'm actually going to duplicate a couple of these. So I'm just building my own form for the team members, and if I click into this input field, I will get a setting, and I can choose what kind of field this is. So this is going to be a text field because it's going to be the name. So I'm just going to put it as name here. An example, I'm going to put please enter full name, and then that one's ready to go, and I can mark this field as required. And then I'm going to do another one here. So we have the name, we have in our collection, since we're going to match the same exact thing, we have the name, the position, the role, and the headshot. So we're going to do name, this will be position, and then this actually needs to be more of a text box. So I'm going to go back to my input field and do a text box where I get more than just the little field. And so again, I'm going to do settings, and I'm going to call this role, and then this placeholder text. Okay, and then I can, if I want to, I can set a character limit in here. I don't really need to for this. I'm going to make this field required, and then we have the headshot. So I'll mark this as required as well. So for the headshot, we're just going to use an image field. So let's see, we're going to do profile photo. So this will allow someone to upload a photo here. Okay. And then we get more settings for this as well. So what kind of upload are they doing? Image and video, video, document, audio. For this one, it's just image. The number of files, we just need 1. This is required, and we're going to just leave it as profile photo. And it does give us the max upload limit. So we do have some different things there, but okay, so we've got this one. So now we're just building our form, and I'm going to put these in a stack so that they're a little more aligned. So I'm just holding shift as I click each of these elements, and I'm going to put these in a stack here, and then I'm going to make them at 24 pixels. Okay, so I've got my basic form, and then I'm going to need a submit button for someone to enter this form, so I will do that as well. I'm going to add in a button here. So I'm going to go to quick add and just add any regular button. I'm going to hold it in the stack so that it shows up. put it down towards the bottom, and then I want my stack to be this way. So I'm going to change this to submit. Okay, so I've got my form here. This is everything I need: the name, the position, the role, to match our content management system. So we have name, position, role, and headshot. So I've got everything here. So now what I need to do is, when I go to my collection or to my CMS, I'm going to go to add content elements, and I'm going to click this button over here called form dataset. So when I click this, I'm going to choose my collection, and I'm going to rename this. This is really important. You always want to rename this to something else. So our team form collection. Okay, so now I know which data set I am working on. It's from the our team, and it's called the our team form collection. And this is also important too. It needs to be in the write mode. If it's only in read mode, it won't work. And it needs to be public, or however you want to filter this, but it needs to be write mode. So now that I've got this set, the data set here, now I can start connecting these to my data. So I've got my data set. I have to select it first, and then I'm going to call this the title because that was the name. I'm going to go in and select this one, and again choose the data set and do the position, and then I'm going to do the role, and then for my profile photo I will do the headshot. Okay, so all of these are tied to that data set now. And then the last part is my button. So my button has to be tied to it too. And so if I click on the submit button, and over here I'm looking at the CMS, I'm going to connect it to the form, and my click action is going to be submit. And then I get to pick a few different things, like what happens when they submit. But I am going to add a success message, and I'm going to put this over here outside of the stack so that we can see it, and it just says your content has been submitted. I can edit this to be whatever I want. So I could say something like, thanks for submitting your team portfolio, or whatever it might be. So I'm going to leave that there, your team profile. I'm going to leave that there, and then we're going to test this out. So what should happen is we have 10 different fields in here. We have 10 different items right now. What should happen when we fill this form out is it's going to put in another item for us automatically. It's going to be our 11th item. So we're going to test this and see if it worked. So I'm going to do the preview button, and I'm going to enter form collection test. And I can already see a mistake here. We should have changed this placeholder text, but it's okay. And the position is going to be the Chief CMS Officer, and my role is to make sure that Wix CMS works correctly. Okay, and then I'm going to upload a photo here as well. And so I'm just going to upload this picture here, and I'm going to click submit. Now we should get the success message when this goes through. Your content has been submitted, so it worked. So now we're going to go back to edit the website, and we're going to check our CMS and see if it added our next person. So here it is right here at the very top. So you can see it added it in automatically for us. The form collection test is the name, the CMS officer, Chief CMS Officer, and then the role, and then the headshot. And so if we go back to our home page, we should see that this populated for us dynamically, and it worked. So here is that one we just submitted now, and it worked the first try, which is great. And so let's go back to our page, and so we can break this down a little bit. So if we go back to the team form, we can then kind of mess with this a little more. So for example, like I said before, this placeholder text should be enter your position, and then it will kind of match more what we, please tell us about your role, please enter full name, upload photo, and submit. Okay, so that's how we would do everything to dynamically populate in there. And then the great thing is too, is once we get this collection, once we get it into this collection, we can also set how it's going to work. So I think it's in here, it might be in the other one. Yes, so here it is right here. So if we go to more actions and then collection settings, we get to set the default status for new items. So right now it's set to visible. Maybe we want to set it to hidden. And if we were to hit save, then this will save for us. And then we also get more permissions in here, like who can view content, who can add content, etc. So we can kind of select different things in here. But if we set this to hidden and we hit save, the next time we fill out this form, and we'll do it again, it will be a different, it will set to hidden instead of visible. So if we enter the name John Doe, Chief QA, if I can type here. So we're just going to keep this short for the sake of this example. And we're going to upload that same photo right here. And we're going to hit submit again. And we should get that same success message, and then back in our CMS, it should have popped up here. So John Doe, Chief QA Officer. And you'll notice that everything again populated in perfectly, but this time it was hidden. So this is actually the way I would prefer to do something like this, unless you want the information to show up on the site without reviewing it and testing it first. But if it's set to hidden, then wherever your dynamic content lives on the website, it won't automatically show. So it didn't populate here. The other thing is, which is really cool, is since we're using the CMS, this person, the Chief CMS Officer, got their own page automatically, and everything looks great there. So that's how you are able to collect data and connect it back to your content management system on the input side. And this confused me for such a long time, but the key components are you have to use the input fields. So you have to use input and then select your inputs that you want, and then you have to connect that input to the data set. And the way we did that was we go to add content elements, and we have to use this form data set here to collect data from our visitors. And then from there, we're able to connect each of these inputs to our data set here, and then it works correctly. And the other thing is, you do need a submit button. If you don't have a submit button, there's no way for them to submit this into your form, into your existing content management collection. So you do need a submit button. You have to have that in order for it to work, and it has to be in write mode. So if we go back to our data settings, it has to be in this write mode. It can't be just read. Write allows somebody to actually type text into these boxes and upload and do all the things that you need it to do. And there's a lot of really great use cases for this. Not only can you do things like update your team members section dynamically, you can do really cool things like you can collect reviews dynamically and then have them populate in other places. And there's all kinds of things that you can do once you can get this input field down, and you can really get creative with it and find the best use for you. But yeah, this was something that really confused me for a while, and it's actually pretty simple once you know how to do it. And so you just want to make sure that you have the input fields that match these same fields here when you create the input collection form, so that it's going to populate the same exact data. So for example, if we didn't have role here, then that wouldn't populate in our collection, and we would be missing something. So you want to make sure that these match, and then obviously you can connect them. So that's how you can use the Wix CMS to input fields dynamically into your collection. I hope you guys like this video, and I will see you in the next one.